The article that I wrote was, for a multinational kind of approach. I don't think it's any different at all. I mean, I don't think there's any difference. I think the issues are different. And certainly there are different ways to think about it, probably at the local level. But there are issues here in New Hampshire that people should and could talk about that would influence the governor to do things in a different way, or the legislature to look at the world in a different way. And jumping into that, we'll have the same challenges that we have for everything else, right? But, should they respond to issues related to, say, AAPI issues like Asian hate, when, was that an issue here in the state for the company? Is it something that they personally were involved in? If it was, then yeah, they probably should, right? So again, it's kind of that localized approach that allows you to speak out about it. We don't live in Georgia or Texas, and hopefully New Hampshire will not come up with some crazy restrictions on how we can vote any more than they already have restrictions. And we won't have to ever deal with that. But if we did, and corporations felt strongly about it, and small companies, have an influence in this state, right? And defining small, by the way, a $100 million company is a small company in the greater scope of things. But in this state, a company, with 10 employees can say something and be a big voice if that voice ends up being responsible for swaying public opinion or getting legislators to see things differently. Honestly, I think one of the mistakes that we make is that because we're small, even as individuals, that we don't really have a voice. Like, well, there's not much I can do about it. I think about this every day, like, well, should I really care about recycling? I mean, I have to they've taken away glass recycling here in Hanover, New Hampshire. I now have to drag all my glass up to the dump, and is that something I should really care? Well, if I don't do that, what's happening? And you'll think, well, does it really matter? That's all going into the same dump. But even those small things that we do, reusing plastic, not using plastic at all, understanding what kind of seafood we're buying that is sustainably caught versus not, supporting businesses that seem to be on the right side of issues, those small things add up. And I think that's what a democracy is all about, that we make those small decisions as individuals and as corporations, and that leads to systemic change. And I think, I don't think there's any organization that is too small to make a big difference. And certainly here in New Hampshire, businesses should all think about this as much as a multinational does.